Following the post-elections violence in Kenya that was marked by incitation to violence of ethnic groups, in the campaign 2007 and 2008, several mechanisms were introduced as part of the attempt to address the root causes of that violence. One of these was the establishment of Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission. The mandate of the commission is to investigate gross violations of human rights from December 1963 to 2008, and to look into the patterns, typologies of violations that occurred, analyze these, and report on them in a public report, with particular emphasis and focus on the most serious violations, such as mass killings, torture, disappearances, use of ethnic hatred against entire communities, the use of rape and all forms of sexual violence into the context of this kind of violence. Challenges have really met the application of this mandate and the work of the Commission. For instance, soon after its establishment, the appointment of a chairperson of the Commission was right away there and then an incident of controversy and dispute. Other commissioners and the advocacy community that really advocated for this body to be established saw that there was a conflict of interest, given that Mr. Kiplagat, who is the chair of the commission, was likely to become an object of investigation for his role during his participation in government as Undersecretary for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs during a long period of time, for instance. So this led to a slowdown of the starting phase of the commission, a lot of time wasted, court cases were brought with the commission and the victims challenging the appointment of the chairperson, and this is still a challenge that is hanging on the work of the commission. For a while, the chairman had to step aside to allow processes that were engaged at the level of the High Court of Kenya to play out, and during that time, the commission made an exceptional effort to make up for the lost time. They conducted hearings, they deployed to sites of violations, they had thematic sessions and testimonies, and at this time, in early 2012, they have reached a moment in their work where they are planning to draft the final report from the, from all the investigative work and the hearings they have conducted and the activities they undertook in application of their mandate. There is some risk that the dispute over the chairperson could still disrupt this concluding phase of the work, but we are hopeful that the position of victims in particular and of the advocacy community, in addition to that of all the other members of the commission, apart from the chairperson, are going to be strong enough to try and block any attempts to disrupt the work of the commission. The Commission for Truth, Justice and Reconciliation is very important for peace building in Kenya, for achieving reconciliation among its population who were manipulated by political leaders seeking office, and therefore encouraging the use of their own ethnic groups as proxies in the fight against their political adversaries.